Hi everybody, welcome to the VirtualLight Broadcast. Thank you for joining me here today. We're going to be doing a live channel from the group here in just a couple minutes, and we've also got a segment from Meg Adamson to play for you here. Just a wonderful connection that we have for all of it. I want to make a couple quick announcements first to kind of get started, to get the business out of the way, the new things out of the way, so to speak. I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on because we're very excited about this. We've been working on bringing another couple of live events to the schedule, and we've got another one that we've just set up for Belgium. Yes, I'm going over there a lot right now. I have a love that's over there, so I'm happen to be over there quite a bit. But we're going to be doing another event in Leuven, which is not that far. It's about 15 minutes by train, 15 minutes by car away from Brussels, and pretty close. So anyway, basically we're going to be doing another event in Leuven. If you were at the last one that we did at the Park Inn, we're going to be at the same place. It's a very convenient place because you can get off the trains. If you're taking a train from anywhere in Europe, you can get off the train and walk to the place. It's very, very close. And we've got lots of food and everything else there. But I did want to tell you, we're going to be doing a human angel activation on April 27th and 28th in Leuven. There's information for you on the website, right on the front page of the website again. So we've just put it up yesterday, and I just sent out the first email about it. So we'll be doing that coming up pretty quick too. I am going to be doing private sessions this month. I did put a couple dates on the calendar. You'll have to look on the front page again to find out what the dates are, but they're listed right there. And if you're interested in a private session, I've made some special times available, so it might be a little bit easy for many of you anyway. So anyway, we'll be doing private sessions, doing the event in April and 22nd, and then we're doing another event which I'm very excited about, which is coming up here online. We have the Light Masters that we do 3 times a month now. We've changed a few things and shifted a few things around. Here, let me move a couple things very quickly so we can, yeah. So anyway, we basically have, we've moved quite a few things around and made space for it. But basically, we're going to be doing the 3 days a month for Light Master, which is new. We used to only do 2 days. Now we're doing 3 days. On top of that, we have the focus channels. This last month was all about channeling. So you think you can't channel type of situation. And we really got some good feedback from a lot of people on that. Thank you so much for that. If you're interested in giving feedback, the easiest way to do that right now is through our help desk. I'm the one who's getting all those emails, so you can just drop me an email there through the help desk, and I'll be happy to try and get back to you as soon as possible. You need to give me some time with some of these, but we'll be working with some of those as well. On top of that, the focus channel for this next month is going to be about clearing energy tubes. Now, I want to share with you just a little bit about what this is and what this looks like. So let me bring you over to another camera here real quick. There we go. So anyway, I can show you a little bit better here on this one right here. This is a Taurus, and this is basic here. It's a fun little thing too, because you can do this with it. Pops right back. So anyway, there's a lot of fun things you can do with a Taurus, but the Taurus is actually one of the things that is actually all around your physical body at all times. It is the energy shell that you walk through life with in different ways. So as we do this, we basically bring things in. Well, there's times where we have difficulties. There's times where we bump into things. We create dents on the outside of our Taurus, if you will. And these are emotional challenges that we basically many times can rule our life. Well, what happens is, here, I'll show you that again if I can get over there real quick. What happens is they get caught in this center section. There's a center section right in here, which is basically the core. Well, that core actually runs up and down your entire body. It connects all of your chakras. So it connects you in different ways. Now what happens is many times when we have a difficulty out here, or we experience a problem or an emotional reset or trauma of any kind, what happens is it brings it in and it squeezes it together here at the heart chakra and contains it through there. That's what the group calls the energy tube. We all have them. We all have different aspects of them that we use. And what happens is when we have these crinks on the outside, they end up staying on the inside. And we're going to spend 3 days. The first day is going to be talking about the Taurus. It's going to be showing you different ways that you can use your Taurus consciously, especially with groups of people, especially with communicating with people, and different things about that. So we're going to spend the first day talking about the Taurus itself. Then we're going to spend the second day clearing any energy tubes in the system. That's the whole idea of what we're going to be doing. And then the third day, we're going to clear it to where it can stay open, to where you can deal with these stresses on a regular basis without having to build them up, being able to clear them on a fairly regular basis. So that's the idea of what we're going to be doing. I know it's a little confusing because what we're actually doing here is we're going to take the Lightmaster group. The Lightmaster group is going to be all the advanced material. And then after that, we're going to also have 3 days a month where we bring in material that's for everybody. I'll be probably duplicating material here that you will hear in Lightmaster. So to avoid the duplication, we put it in a different place altogether. And we'll be focusing this a lot of times on new people, people that are waking up, people that want to find out the basis of some of this important information. So this particular one is a little bit confusing because not too many people talk about the Taurus in the way we do and talk about the energy tube and how we clear. But basically this is going to be clearing a whole bunch of energy that we've built up for a long time. This can be PTSD, this can be traumas, this can be abuse issues that we've hidden inside. All these things are basically stuck inside this little energy tube inside our body. And that's what we're going to be working on releasing. So we'll be working with that coming up this next month. I'm sorry I don't have the dates right in front of me, but we'll be doing that. Looking forward to that a lot. Coming up also, I've got a very important announcement. One of our own has stepped forward and gotten her own book published. That is Kathy Moran. Kathy Moran has just published The Magical Heart of Trees, which is a really beautiful book about how important the trees are, the roles that they play, and the different aspects of it. And I got to write a little cover blurb for her, or forward, I can't remember which one it was, but basically I got to write a little bit in her book as well. So the reality is that she's got a beautiful book out. It just became available on Amazon. Again, it's called The Magical Heart of Trees by Kathy Moran. And you can get it there in your downloadables and your PDFs, or also in a paperback book at a very reasonable price. So I hope you enjoy that. Kathy, well done, Kathy. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy when people get to publish things like that and they get their stuff going, and it's just really exciting for me to be able to see that as well. So thank you all for being here today. This is the VirtualLight Broadcast for March of 2024. We're moving very quickly through March. What the group is going to talk about today, they've given me a little bit of an insight. It's kind of interesting because sometimes they don't actually tell me this until the night before, which is why I was very late in sending out the email to everybody. You only got it last night because the group didn't really want to get into all the things that we're going to be talking about. Today, the channel is going to be from the new selections of the new voice, the collective voice of the group, if you will. I do get to open my eyes this time. I will tell you a funny story about that. Last month when we came together was the first time that the group came in this new collective voice. And it's the month before that, you may notice, that is when they decided to come back together and speak as one. It was in preparation for what's going on. So this new entity, which is now taking over the collective voice of the group, it's still the same energy. It's actually a little more powerful to me, from my understanding of it and from many of the letters we've gotten. So anyway, it's a really powerful way to get it from there. They've taken all the entities, the observer, the master of light, basically the yeah. sometimes the brain goes completely. But anyway, Ilra, the M, and the scientist of the heart, and so forth, to be able to bring all those together and speak as one. That'll be coming up right after Meg's segment, which we're going to see here in just a second, and we'll be able to bring that to you here as well. But looking forward to it. What they're going to cover today, they want to talk about the collective energy of planet Earth. The challenge we're having is that there's a lot of people that are just plain exhausted, that are just completely at their wits' end, looking for answers, looking for ways around this. What happens is there's an unusual type of stress, which is now on the planet en masse. It's being used for certain things. It's being propagated by people who want certain things that want to, anyway. Empaths, people, which are basically light workers, people that have come into this planet with a heightened level of sensitivity, are feeling this in an incredible way. And that's what the group wants to talk about today. They want to talk about some suggestions. I will also say that this is going to be the basis of what we do at the human angel activation that we just talked about in Leuven, Belgium. We're going to be doing 2 days of exercises. We'll have live music there. Rudy Rainers basically is coming. He's going to be bringing his equipment and so forth. He's a musician. Many of you in Holland and Belgium know Rudy because he's been with us for many, many years. So he's actually going to be taking a part of bringing live music, and he'll actually be providing the music that we use today behind the channel. But he'll be doing not only work behind the channel, but we're going to provide a little space for him to send you into some very special rejuvenative meditations with music. So I hope you enjoy that. Anyway, that's coming up. We're going to be working with that, like I said, for the 2 days in Belgium. But we're also going to be working with that a little bit today. The group wants to bring that, to address that, to let people know that this is a normal situation that's going on. Well, it's not normal, it's new. But the energy that you're feeling is different. And they want to talk about that and address it a little bit so that we all kind of know where we're going with this and what's taking place with it. So welcome today. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. We're glad you're here. We're thrilled that you're working with us in this way, and we'll be working together here very quickly. So in the meantime, I do want to bring across Meg. Meg's got an incredible segment for us here today that fits right into what we're talking about. So let me bring Meg on, and then I'll come back with the channel from the group right after that. We'll also be doing an event coming up in 2 weeks on Sunday, which is the Global Light Broadcast. So we've kind of split this time down to bring this short, to make it short and sweet. We brought this down to just Meg and myself doing the channel. And then we're going to be focusing on world events, which are very critical. There's so many things going on. We want to work with the whole Gaza problem, with the Ukraine problem. We want to send some energy in places where it is greatly needed. So we'll be working with that coming up in the Global Light in about 2 weeks. Keep your eye on the website, and keep your eye, and be sure to put yourself on the mailing list there, because that's how we notify people. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy Meg. Thanks for joining us here today. I'll be right back in just a little bit. Aspavarua.
Hi, everybody. So nice to be here with you again this month. What I want to talk about this month is the idea of how we speak to ourselves. Because most of the time, most of us, it's a conversation that isn't kind, and we don't even notice it. We've normalized it. And so I want to pose the question, do you speak to yourself like someone that you love? Do you speak to yourself with the same empathy and the same compassion and the same kindness that you would to a good friend or a lover or a partner that you wanted to be supportive to, that you were listening to, that you were helping find resolution in challenges or face challenges or celebrate the accomplishments? Do you speak to yourself the same way, like someone that you love? A lot of times when we grow up, if we grow up without enough acceptance, and it's our perception. Remember, this isn't about putting blame on parents. A lot of times parents only know what they know, and they pass down the programming that they received. They have programming from their parents have programming from their parents, and this is how we pass ancestral lines. So when we perceive that we didn't receive, and sometimes we actually didn't, other times it's a wound that we receive from our perception because we weren't able to really process a situation or a circumstance. It became very personal to us. Prior to the age of 7, it's all personal. It's something's wrong with me. I'm not good enough. I didn't do it right. Beyond the age of 7, we now are loaded with programming of memories all day, every day, subconscious mind taking in all of the imprints. And so we feel that we didn't receive enough acceptance, or we start to feel shame. We start to hide. We start to maybe cling to what we believe are our shortcomings, our flaws, what's wrong with us, where we feel broken. We might start to hide them. We might start to only focus on the pain, on the failures, where I didn't get that good grade, or where I didn't excel in this one study, even though school is about testing all of your aptitudes. You were never supposed to be the best at everything. But that's our perception. We feel like we have to be the best in gym class, and we have to be the best athlete, and we have to be the best in English class, and we have to be the most proficient in every single study we take on. But that's simply not possible. But it's not set up that way, and we don't even hear it if it is said that way, because all day, every day, what we're taking in from the world is if we aren't as good as who we're comparing ourselves to, then we're not enough. And then we have to hide that. And then we feel shame. And we start doing this at a very, very young age. And so what happens is we start to minimize the good things about ourselves, because our brain then starts training to protect us from ever getting hurt again. So now it's only becoming hypervigilant and focusing on what we need to stay away from. Now we've got patterns. Now imagine we're 3, 4, 5, and we're already creating these patterns. 6, 7, 8, 10, 13. Now we're in puberty. Now it's all about our worth, all about our value, contingent on how others feel about us. Now our brain is habitually expecting to see the evidence to back up all that we're believing about us that creates our own emotional prison, our own emotional pain, our shame, our guilt, what we're hiding. And what starts to happen is all of the beautiful things about us, the things that make us unique, the way that we look at the world, or the way that we love nature, or the trees, or wind, or animals, our innate love for ourselves, our surroundings, our creativity, our humor, our curiosity, all of the things that we innately are born with, and we each have a different set of those attributes, we stop paying attention to them. We treat them like they don't exist. We forget about them. We basically lock them away because we are so focused on avoiding what may cause us pain. Because we received the message, or we created that message unconsciously, that life is a struggle, that we don't deserve happiness, that that's for other people, perfect people, people in our head that don't actually exist, but that's how we see them. And the addition of social media and the impact on children's brains is showing that now more than ever, our kiddos, the young, our community youth, are basing their value on how many likes a post gets, how many comments, positive interactions. And in reverse, because human nature right now is, if we feel that we're not good enough and we see someone else out there putting themselves out there, if we haven't dealt with our own stuff yet, we tend to then knock them down to feel better. Who does she think she is? She thinks she's perfect. Look at her, look at him. And so then there is negative engagement. And then we are just reinforcing the shame, reinforcing I'm broken, reinforcing I'm not good enough, and compounding. And that, fast forward in life, creates a populace of people who have lost themselves, lost the belief in their innate worth and value and uniqueness and skills and abilities and beauty. Right? And we're in a stress response most of the time, but we're not designed to be. Our bodies are not designed to be. What this creates, scientists call this a negative bias. And so we are constantly just reinforcing and looking for the validation and verification that we are needing to be mindful of everywhere that can cause us harm. And so you see more people are becoming introverted. More people are becoming anxious. More people are suffering from depression. The numbers continue to rise. We have to use technology, not have technology use us. And the way we begin that route back is like anything else that we want in our life. We want a healthier relationship, a happier relationship. We want to be happier at our job or with our colleagues. We want to be more successful in our business. We want to have healthy boundaries, get proper rest, have great communication with others, have a healthy balance between our social life and our work life. All of this we're navigating in a world that continues to send us tigers. Right? Our ancestors survived due to their ability to scan the environment for danger and then take action to avoid it, to run, to hide, or to fight if they needed to. There was very little survival value in relaxing and just relishing in the beauty around us. Our brains are not wired to do that. And so self-compassion begins by realizing that we have a right to be happy. And all of the information coming from all of the different outlets, whether you have subscriptions to Netflix and Amazon Prime and television cable, all of this, you start to notice that what you're choosing is on autopilot most of the time. And you are responding to tigers all day long, putting out fires all day long, trying to avoid pain all day long, trying to avoid conflict all day long. And your nervous system is in a constant response. And that's not sustainable. We're not designed to manage that way. We are designed to have a cortisol spike, an insulin spike, deal with the tiger, fight, run, get to safety, and then shift back into resource, shift back into parasympathetic drive, shift back. And how we begin to change our autonomic responses that we've trained our brain and now trained our nervous system into, because what happens over time is the neural pathways now are just looking for it. Our nervous system, we don't even have to see the tiger anymore. Just the anticipation of the tiger, we are in a stress response. And we are waking up every day anticipating tigers. That needs to be unraveled and reworked. And one of the fastest ways that I have found back to that is to start to consciously recognize how I speak to myself. Do you wake up every day and look forward to your day? Do you speak to yourself like someone you love? We're going to have a great day. We had a great sleep. I have ideas. I have thoughts. I'm going to enjoy this cup of tea. I'm looking forward to who I'm going to see today. I'm never given what I can't handle. There's always a new road. And right now, more than ever, as things are more challenging, the resources are more available. The resolutions become bigger, more grand. I can contribute to that. I can open up to that. But here's the thing, if we're in a stress response, the blood flow is not going to our immune system, so we're not healing. The blood flow is not going to the prefrontal cortex properly, so our higher thinking mind, our ability to make decisions, our amygdala, we are not processing properly. We have to look after our nervous system and train it to look at the world like a safe place, to look at people as intrinsically good, to find the beauty in ourselves, the skills that we have, the talents that we have, to expect good in the world, to notice good in the world. Because here's the challenge. You could walk down the street tomorrow and find everything that will validate your current belief about yourself in the world. So you can walk down the street and see the person over there that's in a bad mood, and the person over there that's misbehaving, and the store over there that's overcharging, and the hotel over there that's having issues and they're not friendly at the front desk, and so on. Or you can wake up and you can override that program. And you can start, and it takes practice because our brain likes to go back to what's familiar. So it requires the repetition for the subconscious mind to learn. So that requires effort. I'm going to choose today to speak to myself like someone I love. I'm going to love myself today. I'm going to appreciate my body today. I'm going to think about things that I never really thought about before, that I used to just take for granted all the time. And I'm going to wake up, and on my way to work, I'm going to make eye contact with the person that's serving me my tea. And when I say thank you, I'm really going to mean it. I'm going to appreciate them for the extra effort that they made today. I'm going to ask them how their morning is going. I'm going to look for all of the evidence that the world is a safe place, that people are intrinsically good, and together we are changing paradigms. We're doing our part. We're looking for the uniqueness in each other. We're training our brains to find the beauty in each other. And you will find the evidence of that day. You will find the stranger that smiles to you on the subway. You will find the person who's kind to you. You will find that people that you interact with are in a good mood. And you'll find that the ones that aren't and they're kind of sour, you won't engage with the same way. You'll be able to observe. You'll be able to see that and just let that drop. You won't jump on that. You won't engage in that. You won't take part in that. And here's why this matters so much. People can say to me all the time, but Meg, look at the world. How can I do that? How can I look at what I love about myself and start to talk to myself in a way that I do to someone that I really care about, that I start to treat myself the same way? But how can I do that when there's all this trouble in the world? And my response to that is, there are two types of physics now. The old physics, Newtonian physics, really said that we are all separate and we function like machines. We're just on autopilot. This is what we do. We're things. We're separate in time and space from each other. And this is how it is. We're just going to keep working it out that way as separate individuals. And the only way things work is to control and to dominate and to create submissiveness. But the new science, the new physics, quantum physics, has experiments that show when you take the smallest particle and you split the atom and you drive them apart, and they're 7 miles in one direction and 7 miles in the other direction, and they're 14 miles apart. And you do one thing with the one atom, and the other atom responds as though it is experiencing it too. And then what starts to happen is the first atom, before you even do the thought, the other atom responds as though it's already happening, and it hasn't happened. It's in sync. We are all connected. When you change you influence everything. This is proven in the quantum. And so, You're not just speaking to yourself as someone you love for you. You're speaking to yourself as someone you love that gives everyone else permission to speak to themselves as someone they love. And imagine the world we could live in if everyone started to take responsibility for themselves, that they're capable, that there are resources, that we can have the life that we want to be having. And it starts with realigning what we minimized that was so wonderful about us and training ourselves to see that in everyone else. And as we begin to do that, more grows, more grows, more grows, more grows. Our lives change. If you look around, people are learning differently now. They're not going through the traditional road. Life is our teacher. And we have a responsibility for ourselves to become who we intended to be in this lifetime. There's a plan for each and every one of us. And the more we minimize who we really are and all of our beautiful gifts, the less that feels good to us. There is an innate intelligence within us that says that is not the truth. You are believing that, but that is not who you are. That is not how I know you. You are made from the particles of the universe. You are extraordinary. You are a miracle. You are 1 in 8 billion. You are 1 in 8 billion on this planet. That is magnificent. Can you own that? Can you begin to live like that? Because that then says, I am ready for more. Give me the ideas. Give me the resources. I'll do something with them. I'll make something with them. I'll light others up with them. And I believe that as we really do what we came here to do, step into who we really are, we begin to change all of the old paradigms. And that, I thought, was a conversation worth having. So for the next month, until I see you again, I wish for you to speak to yourself in a way that you truly love yourself. You see your capabilities and you're open to everything that's available to you when you change the autopilot of the limitations that you have been believing. And as you do that, you're going to start to see more and more and more of the evidence. If I can ever help you with that, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. That is what I do all day long, and I love it. I wish you great health, great happiness, great love, great hope, and great promise. Thank you, as always, for inviting me into your homes, for listening, for watching. Be well, and I'll see you next month. Bye for now.
Thank you, Meg. Awesome, awesome, awesome. How do you speak to yourself? It makes wonderful sense. How do you program yourself like that? Absolutely magical. Thank you, hon. Good job. Okay, today what we're going to be working with here is that we'll bring the group in here in just a second, but I got to tell you a little story first. Last month, when I brought the group in for the first time in this new energy and with this new entity, so to speak, an interesting thing happened. They wanted me to close my eyes. Well, I'm here in my studio by myself. So that's no problem. I can figure out, I can go ahead and close my eyes and still get everything running okay. But a funny thing happened. Just before I started, my main computer over here, which is basically, it's a big computer, but it's a computer I basically run things from, basically got a virus. And all of a sudden, things were popping up on my desktop. And I'm going, okay, what's going on here? And the group just said, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and close your eyes. We got it. We got you covered. And I did. And at one point, toward the end of the channel, I started leaning back just ever so slightly, try to peek through my eyes to see if this was going out, because my greatest fear was this whole thing wouldn't be going out. And of course, it was going out fine. Afterwards, I immediately got on this virus. Where did this come from? Where did this happen? I couldn't find anything. The group was laughing hysterically when I started to lean back and look through the eyes. They go, we knew you couldn't do it. We knew you couldn't let go long enough to do it. In the meantime, I've gone through several channels. They've said it's fine for me to go ahead and open my eyes again. But I do need to focus because it's a different type of energy and it's a much bigger energy to be able to bring in. But I'm very honored to be able to do this for you here today. And we'll be bringing that up here right away. I do want to take you over here for just a second, and I'll play for you our little promo for the event coming up, and I'll be right back with the group. A spot for everybody. Hi everybody, I'm Steve Rother. I'm honored to tell you that we're doing a special event in Belgium, in Leuven, Belgium, on April 27th and 28th called the Human Angel Activation. Are you frustrated? Are you reaching levels of boiling point, picking up all the stuff from humanity that's going on, the wars on our planet, the politics on our planet, all the crazy stuff that's going on? As an empathic being, it's very difficult to do. And you may very well be what we call a human angel. The human angels have come with a very specific purpose. They've come with a higher vibration to be able to be here. Sometimes that higher vibration gets in the way. Sometimes that becomes a problem because you pick up everybody else's energy. You pick up the changes of the earth. We're about to have the next hottest year we've ever had on planet Earth. We just had one last year. We're going to have another one. Things are changing beneath our feet. Are you exhausted by that? If so, you might be what we call a human angel. And what that simply means is that you're dealing with stress in a different way. We'd like to show you some new ways around that, and some things that the group says we can work with to be a very effective human angel without carrying all that stress. So we've put together 2 days for this. Yes, we're going to give you some new tools, but this is not a learning experience. This is not a modality. This is an experience for you to come and be reactivated. Very simple. We want to give you some courage to step into your work. We're going to give you the reuniting with the spirit itself. We're going to be doing this in a number of different ways. There's going to be a lot of live channels from the group, the new aspect of the group of 9 they're calling it. We're going to have Rudy Reyes there. He's going to be playing music behind the channels and certain points during the thing. So it's also going to be a musical activation and live channel at the same time. Rudy will be channeling at the same time that I will be channeling the group. We're going to be doing quite a bit of the channeling and instructions from that. We've got some exercises, some ways of releasing stress and rejuvenating the spirit in the body. That's what this is. 2 days. We're basically calling it the Human Angel Activation. It's about coming together with expressing your intent and getting your physical body and your emotional body on board with what you're doing and to be able to deal with stress in a different way. So we'll be coming together for that. Again, it's April 27th and 28th, Leuven, Belgium. It's a college town if you're not familiar with where it is. It's not that far away from Brussels. And we hope to see you there. You can find out much more information at the Espavo website, espavo.org. There's a lot of information there about it. We'll show you the place, special reservation link you can do if you want to spend the night in the hotel and other hotels that you can see. We have a lot of information for you there. We hope you come and join us for this. It's going to be a very unique experience. It is an experience, not a learning process, not a modality to learn, but an actual experience that we want to rejuvenate you. That's the purpose. Come reset your spirit with us. We'll work with the Human Angel Activation on April 27th and 28th, Leuven, Belgium, Espavo. Greetings to all of you, dear ones. We are the group of 9, as you would suspect. Yet we are here in our totality, not expecting another. We've joined in connection to bring you messages, to bring you energies from home. For you, dear ones, are sacred angels walking a very dense planet at a very difficult time. What we tell you, dear ones, is that you've come in with very certain attributes, things that you've worked very hard on to allow yourself to be who you are. You've come in with this incredible sensitivity. Yes, you can call it hypersensitive, you can call it supersensitive, whatever the case. You are empaths, each and every one of you. And that makes it so difficult sometimes to carry all the energy from home that you wish to carry, because you feel everything from every aspect of the earth and her inhabitants. So what we're telling you, dear ones, is at this time you're starting to pick up all sorts of energies which you've never had to deal with before. And as humans that you are, you pick this up and bring this into your own core energy. You wrap your whole Taurus around it. You bring it into your heart chakra. You can clear that, dear ones. There are plenty of ways of doing that. But there are so many things now taking place on planet Earth. First, we'd like to remind you that you have completed a timeline cross. A very important timeline cross. One that has now brought a whole wave of sacred feminine energy to the planet. Yes, it has not landed completely yet, but it is planted in place. Now for it to grow, for it to evolve into new energies, it simply means that you must take that energy and work with it. You must nurture it to give it the light, the water, all the sustenance that it needs to be able to do that and grow and find its way into your reality. It is here. You'll see it over and over again. There are many ways that it's showing up. And yet, because of all the changes, you are balancers. Each and every one of you has this energy that if you see something out of balance, you must push it back into balance. It is your nature to do so. And as empathic beings, picking up on everyone's inequalities in energies and their differences in their belief systems. Sometimes it makes it very difficult for people of your nature to be on planet Earth. So if you are taking these things and internalizing them, please know, dear ones, that there are ways around this now. There are new levels of releasing stress, especially the type of stress that can build up in the empaths of planet Earth. You are so loved on this side of the veil, dear ones. But we see what you're doing. We know who you are. We know the challenges that you go through. And we're so proud. For the work you're doing, even though it cannot always be seen by yourself, is making a huge difference on this planet. You are planting seeds of light that are great indeed. You are, as we've mentioned several times, the greatest angels that have ever lived. To take off your wings, to pretend to be human, to experience those difficulties of balancing that energy is a great task indeed. And we understand the difficulties associated with it. But you see, we have the best people on the job, and that is absolutely critical. You have made it. You've taken your seat in the new world. And now it starts to evolve around you. As it does, dear ones, there is going to be new forms of stress, new ways of bringing energy in that you have difficulty holding in your physical body. Your own bodysuit is the one that acts automatically, for you are of two brains. The automatic brain which happens very quickly, that you program through your successes and your failures, your belief systems, all the rest of it, and your reasoning brain, which weighs everything out. But the challenge is right now, with the stresses that you're feeling on this planet, it's very difficult to you engage the reasoning brain because it does not always make sense. What you see in the world around you is an effect that's being made, and very difficult for you to balance sometimes. So know that you are on the right path. There is much that's opening up right now for you to step forward into a higher vibration. Dear ones, there have always been those who can walk in that higher vibration. And yet, many times, it's because they detach a little bit. They walk in a higher vibration because they are not hooked in the way that you are hooked into. So as the earth evolves, as you start moving into this higher state, it can feel strange at first. It can be somewhat of a challenge in the beginning. But you know that you are on the job. You are the perfect person for this work. You've said so yourself. And here you are. Allow yourself to breathe all of that in. What we will do is to give you a new grounding of this energy for your physical body and your bodysuit that you wear. Allows you to bring this energy through, feel it as you will, but also to allow it to fully go through you and ground into the earth rather than stay stuck in the physical body. That is a new technique. It's a breathing technique that many of you can start using right away. It's a very simple process. You take 3 deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth, and on the 3rd breath, we'll ask you to let half of it out and stop breathing. Now, we have been doing this in the Light Master class for some years now, to work on being able to find that state where you simply are. It takes you out of the thought process. It takes you out of the balancing that you so desire to do on your planet. It allows things to be natural. So let's do that now. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And one more. In, let half of it out, and just be for a moment. Feel your eyes get brighter. Feel the light building in your own energy field. Perfect. That takes all the stress for just those few moments and places it in a new part of your physical being. Allows you to move through it in a different way. That is helpful for the near future. There's much going on, dear ones. You're going to see a lot of changes during this entire year. There's so much taking place, so much rearranging, so many things that are happening. You have all the fun things that are taking place in the cosmos. You have the solar eclipse. You have different aspects of energy portals opening up and new energy coming into this planet. For the impasse, it's going to feel like you're constantly trying to balance something. Oh, here's another wave of energy coming in. How do we integrate that? Just let it flow upon you. Feel the beautiful waves of energy as they come into the planet. And as you feel them, take them as a new taste of energy. Oh, this is a good one. Oh, this is not my favorite, but it will pass soon. Here's a new one. Here, let's try this one on. For you are grand beings far beyond your understanding. You are magicians, each and every one of you. Merlin would be very proud at what he has started here. He has placed much of this magic that we call practical magic. No, there's nothing that you must do to do it other than to recognize that you are capable of it in every single moment of time. You have the abilities to create magic in your world around you every second of every day. What magic do you wish to create? Well, we tell you, your first concern goes to the big issues. What about the wars? What about all the death that we're seeing on the planet? What about all the connection and the suffering? Can we not fix that immediately? You can, but it needs to be in the collective, not the single. When one person takes responsibility for that, it becomes a challenge because you become overburdened with the energy that you're trying to carry. And that creates challenges because the light workers are needed on this planet more than ever before. Many of you, of course, are waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning again. And we say again because we've identified the 3 a.m. club before. But now more and more of you are starting to awaken in the middle of the night. And of course, you're in a hyper-creative time. So what usually happens is you look at your watch, you look at your clock, and you go, oh, I'm going to be tired tomorrow. Be careful what you say to yourselves during this time. It is a very sacred time. As the one called Meg just mentioned, what you speak to yourself becomes real. You're programming your own bodysuit. You're programming your automatic brain to react in a certain way. Give it the highest material that you can give it. Give it the love that you all have for each other. And yet, probably the most difficult to love in all of that equation is self-love. That is the challenge that many of you face. It is easy to look around you, fall in love, to honor people, to see the connections that you all have in different ways. And yet it's very difficult for you to look in the mirror and not find the imperfections that you see, but rather look at the spirit deep within. These are magical times, dear ones. You're stepping in a higher vibration of the new planet Earth, and it is getting very interesting at this point. Now, there's several things that are coming immediately we will tell you about. For as the timeline cross from Eris has now left a permanent imprint, you're integrating that imprint. As such, you'll see pullbacks, you'll see pushes forward, you'll see integration of the new energy in the feminine form, and you'll also see massive pushback against it. Every time humanity starts to rise, there are those that reach up and say, no, we wish to hang on to the old. We wish to hang on to the old way. Because your tendency is to look back in your history and think that somehow it was perfect. And over here in the future, you have things that you must create in new ways. So you'll tend to go back toward the normal, toward the safety your history. It's long gone, dear ones. It's not there for you to reach to anymore. It's passing very quickly. So becoming change experts is the new rule for light workers everywhere. To be able to step into a higher vibrational state without fear, without knowing exactly where you're going, and still have the capabilities of moving forward with a beautiful smile on your face. Are you going to lose that sensitivity that you have? No. You will need it, dear ones. But you must master it as well, so that it does not overwhelm you. Dear ones, you have this beautiful toroid in front of your heart chakra. It's like a donut, and it's turning in this beautiful way to where every time you end up putting out an energy from your heart, that it sends it out into the world. It sends a beam of light to connect to other beings everywhere. But when you become really stressed, when you're confused about your energy, that toroid slows down, and it makes it more difficult for you to send out your energy. And at a certain point, if you have trauma, if you have difficulties you cannot deal with, what happens is the toroid stops altogether, or sometimes even reverses itself. So the beam of love and light that you send out into the world is now going back into you. And that creates the situations that you call depression, that you call anxiety. It sets up the opportunity to experience all sorts of inward pressure because all of your creativity cannot get out. That is a new stress. And many of you have worked with these in different ways before, but never to this degree now. The planet is changing. On top of that, you are all incredibly empathic, not only to each other, but to the Earth herself. So changes within the planet, changes within the Earth herself, are being picked up and felt within your physical beings. And of course, you're the balancers. You're the ones that try to balance everything that you possibly can. So in making sense of this, sometimes it becomes very challenging to be able to understand what is taking place. You're closer than you think. You are the magicians on the game board. You will soon come up with many modalities that will help you take your power and step forward. It is a new world, dear ones. Sometimes things don't work the same way that they used to. Sometimes you will feel new things that you've never felt before. Much of this change is coming later in this year. April will be a big month, but so will November. There are so many waves of energy coming in this year that change is at hand. Now, living in a field of duality, your first question is it going to be good change or is it going to be bad change? Dear ones, that is entirely up to you. How will you integrate this? How will you bring this in? How can that work for each of you? You will decide that entirely on your own. And by becoming change experts, by working with the attribute of change, you not only shift yourself and open up your bodysuit for the greatest of possibilities, but you set the energy for people to follow behind you. Each and every one of you are teachers in your own right, whether you understand that or not. You hold the energy of a teacher, which means that people will follow your light. Very simple. Doesn't mean that you're perfect. Doesn't mean that you have to be perfect. It means that you have to be you. Dare to be the human. Dare to be imperfect. Dare to experience all of it. But when you open your mouth and you share those energies with other people, it takes on a whole different realm. Now you have the capability of building a new world. And that is underway. On top of that, the Earth herself is making changes. As we've mentioned before, this timeline cross, which is just completed on the 28th of February. That timeline cross is now left permanent imprints in both your world and theirs. You were together for so long that it will seem very natural to you, and yet the outcomes of many things will start taking on new energies. What must your part be? Your part must be to play the game, to become change experts, to dare to transverse the next gap that you see in your world, to be able to jump across very easily and then hold your hand out for those that wish to follow. Dear ones, welcome home. Your light has been needed on this planet for a long time. We wish to give you nothing more than the confidence to use it, to set it into motion, to create the higher new world that you're stepping into. The planet is going through changes herself, as we've mentioned. And we tell you that even though the feminine energy has been opened on planet Earth now as a result of this timeline cross, her own needs are being met in a new way. So she has capabilities as well that she had not only a short time ago. The new energies are here. You've created that spot for it to happen. So work with the stress. Know that when you feel the stress, it's because you're tired of trying to balance everything. Let it go. Let it be for a moment. Balance oneself first. Finding out what you need in your world to be happy, to be joyous. Dear ones, you deserve to be happy. When you finally end the game of planet Earth altogether and you meet on the other side of the veil, you will slap each other on the back saying, "Wasn't that a wonderful journey?" You will remember the difficulties that you've experienced as great teaching tools. You will look at things in a totally different way. You may start looking at that now. The capabilities of the new world are on all of you at this moment. You are needed, dear ones. You are holding energy that opens the door and brings the blueprints for the new world right in front of all of you. Welcome home, dear ones. We're so glad that you made it at this time. We are here to bring you the larger aspect from our side of the veil. But please know, you all have connections. You all have channels. You all have guidance that will show you the way. Trust it. Practice it. Work with it on a regular basis and watch what happens in your own world first. And with that, we leave you for a time. We have opened many of the possibilities for you to clear some of this energy right away. So as you start breathing, remember that little simple trick of taking you out of your human reality long enough to let your own being reset its energy. I simply stop breathing. Stop time for that moment. Know that you're never alone, dear ones. We are with you all the time. We are honored to be following your path. You are the greatest angels that have ever lived, and we honor you. With that, we leave you for now. Play well together. Remember to nurture each other. Remember that you're part of each other. You are connected to every other atom on the planet. Give it your best. Smile and remember home. Espavo, dear ones, we are the group of 9, here to remind you of your magnificence. Thank you for taking your power. Thanks for being with us here today. I appreciate it. Oh, wow. It takes me a couple minutes to come back from this. Their energy is quite different than the singular energy as I've experienced before. But I wanted to say thank you to everybody here. We're all going through some massive changes at this time. I know people are looking for answers. We're going to do our best to bring you everything we can. But I'm very honored to be channeling this new collective of the group. They have some very wonderful insights for all of us. It's all about remembering who we really are. We're pretending to be these humans. And like Meg said, be careful what you say to yourself. It's really important. You are a creator being after all. So have a wonderful month. Come and join us in a couple weeks for the Global Light. We'll be focusing on some of the real hot spots of planet Earth. See if we can't cool things down a little bit. See if we can't bring some wisdom to the whole process that we're doing. Thanks for being with us. Carry the light well. Know that you are absolutely loved. A spa for everybody.